All right, ladies and gentlemen, you are welcome to another great episode on The Truth with Ben Jokes, your number one political talk show. Tinubu donates 7,000 bags of rice to APC members in Zamfara. The state publicity secretary of the party, Yusuf Idris, disclosed this in a statement in Gusau on Saturday. He said that the distribution of the largesse was inaugurated on Friday in Gusau by the Minister of State for Defense, Dr. Bello Metawale. About 2 weeks ago, Sheyi Tinubu was also in northern Nigeria distributing rice. And don't tell me that it is because of fasting. Even when there was flooding in Maiduguri and people lost their homes, rice was all that the Tinubu regime had to offer. This is how Nigerians will continue to suffer until they learn to say enough is enough. This is a Minister of State for Defense, Metawale, who has been linked strongly to terrorism in Zamfara State, but nobody is saying anything about him. All he's doing is to go there and distribute rice to them. You take people's lives and you give them rice. And a few hours ago, Southwest leaders sent confusion into Aso Rock when they began to demand for a state of emergency to be declared in the whole of Southwest Nigeria over the level of insecurity in the region. Maybe the Southeast will also need a state of emergency because of the insecurity happening there lately. And we all know that the North is even the most hit in terms of insecurity. So definitely the North will also get a state of emergency. So is Tinubu going to declare a state of emergency in the whole of Nigeria and then suspend himself for a military administrator to take over the way he did to Fubara? And the next top story is how the Senate President Godswill Akpabio was once again dragged, this time around disgraced in Germany, as Natasha's story of sexual harassment continues to trend globally. Before I show you details of these top stories and how Nigerians reacted, let me quickly show you these videos. First video here is by elder statesman Bode George speaking on the declaration of a state of emergency in Rivers State. See the video.
And so it's a completely different ball game now. I have said it. What is the violence? Where is the wreck in Rivers that will prompt Bola Tinubu to say you suspend an elected person? And our constitution has stated clearly that you have no right. It's unconstitutional for you to suspend an elected governor and an elected member, and they should report now to you, to the cabinet office. What a charade. It is not acceptable. It is not on. You know what it reminds me? You are now behaving like a military governor, like a military president. The judiciary and the executive and the legislative arm are independent but equal in powers. What are we seeing? The voice of Jacob and the hand of Esau. What are we doing, for God's sake?
Now, Chief Bode George.
Baba Tinubu, please, Tejejeo, you have to be very, extremely careful. I've told you, everything that is happening today happened before 1962. You should take the speech read by Baba Wolowo in the parliament. He was like as if he was a soothsayer. And now, where is the violence in Rivers? And I want to please Rivers people, both the mainland and the riverine people, I beg you, be resilient, be quiet, don't be violent. Put a shame on what they have called you. Put a shame on them by remaining perfectly submissive to the goodness of the Almighty God. Please.
You heard that. Bode George there warning Tinubu to tread carefully, and then he proceeded to beg the people of Rivers State to keep calm. But the truth is, if the people of Rivers would keep calm in the face of this provocation, then there is no need to tell Tinubu to tread carefully. He might as well send his son Sheyi to go and govern Rivers State. The gentleman approach will never work with the APC. If Nigerians don't revolt, they will remain slaves forever. Next video here is one from Professor Jubril Ibrahim, Senior Fellow, Center for Democracy and Development. See the video.
I think it's very clearly a battle that has been going on in Rivers State, where the stakes are very high, and federal forces have coalesced to smash that Governor Fubara. And so far, it appears they have had great success, because all the issues they've canvassed for against him have been granted by various agencies and forces that have intervened in the matter. And even the question of the Supreme Court saying they are not releasing the money, they have not reversed their position. They have not assessed whether this transition has occurred. So how come the money has been released with such fast moves? It means clearly that this is a political game of high stakes. And what we are seeing is the results of a proud winner telling the nation, I've done what I wanted to do.
You heard that. So at this point, every single non-partisan Nigeria that has spoken on this declaration of a state of emergency in Rivers State have all condemned the declaration, and more so the suspension of the state governor, Governor Fubara. So clearly, we have a dictator on our hands in person of Tinubu, and the decision to get him out of there or let him remain is collectively ours to make. Now, let us look at the top stories. First is that call for a state of emergency in the entire Southwest. This call is coming from Yorubas, and they are saying it is as a result of the insecurity in the region. And next is that update all the way from Germany. Senate President Akpabio's sexual harassment escapade trends once again. Let's start by taking that update from the Southwest. Look at how the papers reported it. Breaking. Afenifere Council asks Tinubu to declare state of emergency in Southwest over kidnappings, killings. Sahara reporters. The Afenifere National Youth Council has expressed concerns over the escalating killings and kidnapping crisis in the southwestern part of the country. It has therefore called on Bola Tinubu to declare a state of emergency on kidnapping urgently to stem the tide of insecurity. According to the president of the group, Prince Eniola Olajuni, in a letter to Tinubu, the call followed a disturbing surge in abductions and the brutal killings of victims, which had become increasingly rampant across the country. The letter read, I write you with deep pain and urgency regarding the worsening state of insecurity in the Southwest, particularly in Ondo State. Kidnapping attacks have escalated to alarming levels, leaving citizens in constant fear for their lives and livelihoods. Ondo State, once known for its rich agricultural activities, has now become a danger zone where farmers no longer feel safe accessing their farmlands. Criminal elements have turned our forests into ransom negotiation camps, while major roads, especially the Lagos-Abuja Expressway, have become death traps for innocent travelers who are kidnapped daily for ransom. Mr. President, I am a victim. I have first-hand experience of the horrors these criminals inflict on their captives. I was held hostage for 12 agonizing days and nights in the wilderness without food or clean water. I suffered AK-47 gunshot wounds, bled for days, and received no medical attention. The excruciating pain I endured was inhuman. It is only by God's grace that I survived. Your Excellency, I appeal to you with urgency. Declare a total state of emergency on insecurity in the Southwest, especially in Ondo State. Deploy a special military operation to reclaim our forests from kidnappers and criminal elements. Strengthen border security to prevent the influx of criminal headers and terrorists into our communities. I have personally written to the governor of Lagos State, urging him to convene an urgent Southwest Governors Forum meeting on security and youth engagement. However, only a strong federal directive can ensure swift and collective action. Your Excellency, this is a special appeal to your good office as the father of the nation. Now is the time to take decisive action. The level of insecurity in the Southwest has gone beyond a crisis. It is a full-blown war against innocent Nigerians. Our roads are unsafe, our forests are hijacked, and our people live in fear. You heard that. This regime has tried and tried to hide the true situation of insecurity in the Southwest, but 30% of it has managed to make it to the news. That 30% has been horrific, far more than what we had in Rivers State, where a state of emergency was declared. So Yorubas are asking BAT to shut the Southwest down with soldiers with an emergency declaration over insecurity. And we all know that insecurity is worse in the north. So BAT will also have to declare a state of emergency in northern Nigeria and in the southeast. So BAT will eventually have to suspend himself for a military administrator to take over. That is what these guys are indirectly saying. And LD here says state of emergency now is being served like tea, abi? Oh. And Gideon says suddenly everyone wants state of emergency. The entire nation needs it. That is it. And Ola Michael here says he couldn't declare state of emergency in Ondo State. It is Rivers State that kidnapping is not ravaging that he's declaring state of emergency. Terrible president. And just as Nigerians were yet reacting to this, that video of Senator Natasha Akpabio humiliating and dragging Senate President Godswill Akpabio on DW News in Germany began making the rounds. See the video.
And data that I've had to deal with.
And can you explain to us what Senate authorities told you about why they were suspending you?
They summed it up to say I was suspended for gross misconduct as against my allegation of sexual harassment. But I believe that I was suspended to silence me from speaking forth, more like punishing me and setting an example so that no other woman would dare speak on such things, especially against powerful men. So they say I was suspended for gross misconduct. And I ask, what exactly amounts to the gross misconduct? Was it because I refused to move my seats? We have, there were videos that popped up whereby the same Senate president in the 8th Assembly years back, he also had a brawl in the chambers because his seat was moved when he was not duly notified.
Right.
And his countenance, there was actually much more. In the Nigerian Senate, we have had senators gone physical on themselves, shouted, insulted, cursed, and even threw items at themselves. They were not suspended. So why me? I think I am just victimized. And that's the bigger picture of how women are treated in politics in Nigeria.
And could I
but
just
let me
ask you,
say this. Let me say this, very important. I am not the first woman to have accused the same man, Senator Akpabio, of sexual harassment. There is a lady in the corporate arena about 3 years ago. Her name is Joy Nonie. She was the MD of NDDC. She actually spoke that she had to slap him when he tried grabbing her in a hotel. So this is not an isolated case. But again, I'm saying this. I would want the courage that I have gotten to speak about this this societal vice. I want it to be taken serious because there are a lot of women who are suffering, not just in politics, not just in the corporate arena, but in universities and many places. Women are sexually harassed and there is no safe spaces for us to vent and seek justice.
Okay, thank you for that.
You saw that. Like play, Senate President Godswill Akpabio has become the most popular, or should I say, the most notorious lawmaker in the world now, because this lady has gone to BBC News. She's been on Sky News now. She's on DNW. I'm sure she's going to Fox News next. And we don't even know the end of the story yet. And I would like to believe that Senator Natasha at this point is no longer interested in returning to the Senate. I don't think she's interested in returning to the Nigerian Senate anymore. After all, the Nigerian Senate is recognized globally as a corrupt body and there is no dignity being one of them. And if she could even be treated like that, then what is she going back there for? What Natasha is after now, in my opinion, is to humiliate this man as much as she can by telling this story to the north, south, east, and western parts of the world. And I suspect that she has one or two concrete evidence. That is also one more thing that I suspect. And she's waiting to release that maybe later in the course of this whole saga, or if Senator Godswill Akpabio decides to sue her for defamation of character. That is my suspicion, and I think Akpabio also knows that. That is why he has not taken any step towards suing her yet. Because why is Akpabio using all manner of methods, including a recall from the Senate to fight Natasha, but not using the Nigerian judiciary? He's not using the court that he controls. The court have done a lot of things for him, like they put a hold on Natasha's recall. Now they have removed that hold, that the recall process can continue. So they are most probably going to recall Natasha from the Senate, and she will not be a senator again. So why not use the court, why not sue her for defamation? I think Akpabio is also scared of this woman spilling out some concrete evidence that she might have. That is just a suggestion. It might be or it might not be true. Anyway, we'll keep our fingers crossed and see how this whole matter unfolds. But until then, make I still enter town. Make I go get some ogbonge political news. We una go like. Why? Because of una. Now I dey here, so don't go away. Don't